same way, differently? What's the sort of the mindset, even though they're on paper not as good as they would be with David West in the lineup?
Well, we fortunately we had a scout able to go over and watch the game last night in Phoenix, so we had some eyes on the game. We have a video of it, so we've looked at it. Landry had 19 points. Obviously, played pretty well for him in the backup role.
Are they that much different from what you saw without David West? Landry provide some of the similar things?
Very, very similar.
He's had some success against you guys.
He's played well against you.
Yes, he's had some good runs against us with Houston and with Sacramento.
How come? What's his forte?
He's strong, good shooter from inside of 18 feet, a good offensive rebounder, compact, not a rangy player, not a long player, but he's compact and he's got pretty good footwork down on the post.
How much have you paid attention to Trevor Ariza's career since he left Los Angeles?
Very much so, yeah.
Well, what have you seen about his development? I mean, even last night he had 16 points. He's like maybe taking a bigger role in New Orleans than he was here.
I can't comment on that particular whether his role is bigger. A lot of New Orleans game is that Paul's got the ball in his hands 80% of the time. So there's not a whole lot. He's either going to be a catch and shoot or a catch and drive guy, and if he has occasion to get to the board or run out and break, he has opportunities there. But not a lot of offensive responsibilities for him to create his own shots or do things on his own. So he's a good player for them because his effort is really defensively. That's where he can really help out.
Have you noticed any areas of development?
Not particularly. I think he played really well for us. I don't know if he's played any better for Houston and New Orleans as far as if that's what you mean by development.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
The last two games defensively, has there been any points of emphasis as far as getting it back to what it was before the Phoenix game?
Well, we think there's been some defensive slippage, and that's some of the things we were working on this morning.
Why do you like Fisher's game so much?
Well, I don't like everything about anybody's game. So much means, put some twist on it that I'm not quite familiar with. Here's what I do like about his game. He knows how to execute the skills that are necessary in the offense that we run. And when things get to a point in the ball game when we need execution by design, by reads, he's able to do that. Where a lot of our other players are looking to either drop the ball in Kobe's lap all the time and walk away and let suck their thumb, and have a pacifier for them. Fish is able to continue to run the offense, and so everybody says, well, he makes really big shots at the end of the game. Yes, he does, but that's because he knows how to execute the game. The other thing I like about him, he's a bulldog on the defensive end. He comes away with steals and offensive fouls in critical moments and knows how to play that very well.
And taking a charge, I know you've seen a lot of players in your lifetime. Is he up there in terms of...
He's very good. In fact, he's so good a lot of times he doesn't get credit for it because they say, well, he's just a guy that'll take a charge or flop.
Right. But you've talked about the play of your bench recently. You haven't been so happy with it. What's going on with the bench guys, reserves?
Well, the shooting percentages are down. Their execution skills are not as good as I'd like them to be. Some of it's Matt coming back, and we're playing a little bit faster than we have to play, even though it's a team that can speed up the tempo of the game, but they're playing too fast, even for their accelerated capabilities. So that bothers me a little bit about them. And defensively, we haven't been good. We haven't made stops. We've been really good in the defensive end with that crew, and that makes a problem for us to hold leads in that.
What do you want to see them do better?
Well, they have to play defense a lot better. Not turn the ball over. They had 3 turnovers in the first 3 minutes of the second period. That's a problem right there. So those things they have to get into kind of develop an identity for themselves. So we're constantly kind of working without trying to bring a huge focus to it. Like it's a it's a problem right now, but it's an issue that's been good for us this year, and it's also been okay. Right now, it's not as good as it can be.
So there have been some questions this year about Chris Paul's health and how he's moving on his knee. How has he looked to you recently? Has it been any better?
He made some big plays last night down the stretch against the game in Phoenix. And the kind of prototype thing that he can do is he can go inside, take a bump, and still have great body control, get in the air, take the bump, and still be able to sustain the balance and form so he can make a shot from 8-10 feet, whether it's a bank shot or whatever. Made 2 or 3 of those shots with Grant guarding him last night. Dudley was also thrown on him. They didn't expend Nash on him. And he showed to me that maybe he's coming back from some of that knee problems that he had before that was limiting his ability to really do those things that made him special.
Do you understand why so many fans are down on Fisher seemingly all the time?
Well, we're so drilled in this about a point guard has to be like this, and this is a prototype point guard, and he's got to be a spin-off of Isaiah Thomas and or whatever the prototype is. That's the original kind of mindset. And Rondo and Brooks and Conley and Rose and all these guys are dynamic point guards that can do not only speed the ball up but also take scoring as a big part of their game. This offense doesn't require that. It doesn't require a point guard to be. It requires a point guard to be a general of sorts, quarterback of sorts, but he doesn't have to score the touchdowns.
One thing I always hear is that Derek can't stay in front of the elite point guards. But when you watch, say, Paul play against Connolly, who stays in front of who there? Anybody?
No.
It's the same, isn't it?
Once you can put the ball in your hand like this and take a skip step, like they allow players to do, and now he's got either crossover, he can accelerate out of that. There's not much you can do. When Rose does that or crosses over from there, there's nobody who can stay in front of him. And we've given them all these abilities to do all this stuff to these kids are really fantastic athletes.